Ancient texts contain something modern historians don't want you to see. The Mayans calculated astronomical events to the second without telescopes. Egyptian hieroglyphs show helicopters and submarines. A 3,000-year-old Baghdad battery still generates electricity today. These weren't visions of the future. They were records of visitors from another time. Strange figures appear in artwork across civilizations, always carrying the same mysterious devices. Governments lock away artifacts that don't fit our timeline. The most fascinating part? Every single prophecy points to events happening right now. History isn't what you think it is, and neither is your future. Our ancestors were primitive people who slowly developed technology over millennia. They created myths to explain what they couldn't understand, and any references to advanced knowledge were just lucky guesses. But what if that narrative is the actual fiction? Let's start with something that should be impossible. The ancient Sanskrit text of the Mahabharata, written over 2,000 years ago, contains descriptions of flying vehicles called vimanas that could travel between stars. These weren't simple chariots pulled by magical horses, but machines with detailed propulsion systems. The text describes them as an apparatus which can go by its own force, from one place to another on land, water, and through air, striking similarity to modern aircraft. Wouldn't you say? But perhaps you're thinking, ancient people had imaginations too. Fair point. Let's dig deeper. The Mahabharata also describes weapons that mirror our modern nuclear arsenal with terrifying accuracy. It speaks of a weapon that reduced to ashes the entire race of the Vrishnis and the Andhakas, creating corpses so damaged they were unidentifiable. Hair and nails fell out, pottery broke without apparent cause, and birds turned white. Sound familiar? Those are the exact symptoms of radiation poisoning. How could ancient authors know such details thousands of years before nuclear physics was discovered? Unless, of course, they had seen it firsthand. You might be chuckling now, thinking I've gone off the deep end. But humor me for a moment. The evidence only gets more compelling. Let's travel to ancient Egypt. The Dendera Temple contains a fascinating carving that historians struggle to explain. It appears to show figures operating what looks remarkably like a modern electrical light bulb, complete with a filament. These Dendera lights have cables and power sources depicted with shocking accuracy. Conventional historians claim these are just symbolic lotus flowers, but that explanation falls apart under scrutiny. Lotus flowers don't have filaments or power cables. Speaking of Egypt, the construction of the Great Pyramid remains a mathematical mystery, built with such precision that modern engineers would struggle to replicate it today. Its placement aligns perfectly with true north, with an error margin of just 3/60th of a degree. Without modern GPS systems, how did they achieve this? Unless someone with advanced knowledge was guiding them. The book of Ezekiel in the Bible describes a strange encounter that has puzzled theologians for centuries. Ezekiel witnesses what he calls a wheel within a wheel descending from the sky, containing beings with the likeness of a man. He struggles to describe this technology with his limited vocabulary. Yet his detailed account reads remarkably like someone from ancient times encountering a modern aircraft or spacecraft. His description of these living creatures with burnished bronze, lower bodies, and multiple faces has been interpreted by some researchers as a primitive man's attempt to describe pilots wearing helmets with reflective visors. The Hopi Indians have prophecies that describe flying shields and predict the coming of railways and automobiles with eerie precision. How do they know? Even the Book of Revelation, written around 95 CE, describes future events with such specific imagery that it's difficult to dismiss as mere coincidence. It speaks of an army of horsemen numbering 200 million. An impossible military force in ancient times, but perfectly plausible in our modern world where China alone could field such numbers. We're so busy looking to the stars for visitors that we've missed the evidence that they might be us. Advanced humans, whether from our future or a forgotten past, leaving breadcrumbs across time. Consider the Antikythera Mechanism, discovered in 1901 off the coast of Greece. This 2,000-year-old device is an analog computer of astonishing complexity, used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses decades in advance. Its technology was so advanced that nothing rivaling its complexity appears again in history until the 14th century. How did ancient Greeks possess this knowledge, only for it to disappear for over a millennium? The pattern repeats across civilizations. Moments of inexplicable technological insight, followed by mysterious regression. It's as though someone occasionally dropped advanced knowledge into the timeline, only for it to be partially understood and then lost again. In the Qumran Bible, an ancient text preserved by secret societies for thousands of years, there are passages describing a catastrophic world-ending event that mirrors modern climate change concerns with chilling accuracy. Men forget the days of the destroyer. Only the wise know where it went, and that it will return in its appointed hour. The Sumerian king list casually mentions rulers who reigned for thousands of years before a great flood. Most historians dismiss this as mythology, but what if it's recording a different timeline? One where human longevity was dramatically different, or where time itself was measured differently. What's truly fascinating is how these advanced concepts appear simultaneously across disconnected civilizations. The sudden emergence of mathematics, astronomy, and architecture of stunning complexity erupted around the world within the same narrow time frame. From South America to Asia, civilizations with no contact somehow all made similar technological leaps at once. This is where conventional explanations truly fall apart. How did isolated cultures all suddenly develop similar advanced knowledge without communication between them? Unless they all had the same teachers, visitors with advanced knowledge. The Vatican archives contain thousands of documents never released to the public. What secrets might they hold about time travelers or advanced knowledge given to early religious leaders? Why do governments around the world keep certain archaeological findings classified? Consider this perspective. If time travel becomes possible in our future, then time travelers must already be here among us and always have been. The evidence of their presence would be scattered throughout history. Exactly what we see in these anomalous texts and artifacts. You might be wondering, if time travelers existed, why wouldn't they just reveal themselves openly? But think about it logically. Direct interference might create paradoxes or dramatically alter the timeline. Perhaps they operated with strict rules of engagement, only dropping hints and guidance where absolutely necessary. The Mahabharata itself seems to acknowledge this dilemma when it states, "Time is the root of everything and all things grow from time. And again, in time they are destroyed." This brings us to the most compelling question of all. Why do so many ancient prophecies seem to converge on our current era? The Mayan calendar, Hopi prophecies, biblical revelations, and Hindu yugas all point to our present time as a period of great transformation. Is it because we stand at a critical juncture in human history? Or because time travelers from our future identified this as the crucial moment that determined their timeline's fate? As we stand at this crossroads of history, perhaps we should pay closer attention to these ancient messages. What warnings or guidance might they contain that we've been missing? What choices might we make differently if we understood our place in time's greater pattern? The next time you read an ancient text or look at archaeological mysteries, ask yourself, am I seeing mythology or memories, imagination or instruction, coincidence or communication across time itself. The light of truth often hides in plain sight, waiting for eyes ready to see it. Join us next week as we continue decoding the mysteries that connect our past to our future. This is Discover Light Within, where the boundaries between time, knowledge, and possibility are just waiting to be crossed.